There's this trope that all men are slobs and that we know nothing, nor do we really care about our living spaces. Interior design is for chicks, man. You'll often see photos like this of a dude's apartment as the quintessential example of how men live. Or this infamous tweet suggesting that they are not only inept, but that they actually want to live like that and see no problem with it. Personally, a maximum security apartment isn't for me, nor am I a fan of the stoic alpha minimalist male fantasy. Even though it looks like I actually am. And don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at this generalization. It's common for comedy to make generalizations in order to point out some kind of commonality or social construct. It's what makes memes like this funny. And if you have a brain, you know it's just a joke and that not all men live like they're on the run from the government, and don't take it personal. Unfortunately, because a lot of people have no sense of humor, they're unable to see that it's not some cosmic truth. There are a lot of men who don't associate with the mattress and TV Unabombers. But enough about men for a moment, so I can talk to you about the massive giveaway Bellesa is doing, where you can enter and win some stress-relieving sex toys. There isn't a better time to tell you about Bellesa and their massive giveaway where you can enter and win some stress-relieving sex toys that you might need after this video. Bellesa and I are literally sending out free toys or gift cards for toys to everyone who signs up to my giveaway, linked in the description below. Even the men, they've got something for everyone. If you're unfamiliar with Bellesa, they are a by women's sexual wellness company with a mission to empower everyone to embrace, explore, and celebrate their sexuality. This is the Pebble, the Air Vibe, and the Thump, that all come with their own discrete cases that won't draw attention if TSA has to search your carry-on. The Pebble and Air Vibe are both fantastic products with vibration and suction features that are controlled independently. The Thump not only has an incredible name, but so many features as well. It vibrates, it suctions, it thumps, it's USB rechargeable. The only thing that would make it better is if it made you a sandwich when you were done using it. It's been designed to be the de facto replacement for all external clitoral stimulation, utilizing Bellesa's improved pleasure jet technology that was previously only achievable by humping a jacuzzi nozzle. And speaking of jacuzzis, all three products are waterproof for when you want to go tub thumping alone or with a partner. Bellesa also has toys for the guys and gays and theys. So everyone should click the link in my description and sign up because you will win something. Thank you so much to Bellesa for sponsoring this video. Now back to me. If you check out Male Living Space on Reddit, for example, you'll find diverse, strange, wonderful places full of character. Yes, there are also some bizarre choices, but more often than not, it's decently put together homes and apartments. And honestly, r/female living space isn't much better. It's full of both eclectic and well put together rooms, and those that look like they were featured on an episode of Hoarders. We are all of us multitudes. There's no r/bisexual living space, but if there was, I'm sure the majority of the rooms would look like Mandy starring Nicolas Cage. I want to talk about this because I found an article that Vice wrote 5 years ago about male living space, which essentially reinforced the stereotype that all men just need a bed, a gaming battle station, and a $15 camping chair for when they have guests over. If they have guests over. By the way, that person gave an update 4 years later, and they're doing much better. The innocence of a man taking to the internet, seeking out a specific Reddit thread of male living spaces, and asking for help identifying the Herman Miller Eames lounge chair and ottoman, one of the most well-known chairs ever manufactured. This joy is quickly dissipated, however, when it is followed up by one lazy twat's ingenious idea to prop up his curtain pole on a can of beans. Between extremes of affordable hopelessness and chaotic neutral energy come posts that have one resounding element of similarity, a full-force lack of taste. The male equivalent of all gray houses with mirror tables and crushed silver settees. These posts exemplify what we have known all along. Without women, straight cis men would be happy sitting in rooms that contain solely a lazy boy armchair, a 60-inch TV, and an Xbox. What the fuck, bro? Back then, that subreddit only had about 500,000 members. Since then, it's exploded to 2.7 million. A lot has changed since then, though, and every year the average man grows more comfortable caring about their appearance and their fashion choices and the things they buy to fill up what was once referred to as a man cave. Now, we call that a den, like adults. At the same time, every year there are also those embracing a Rustin Cole-themed bedroom aesthetic, but we've talked about them enough. As a guy, taking an interest in design and fashion and personal hygiene and, dare I say, beauty, is more and more the norm. We haven't fully broken down the gender norm brick wall, and only about half my male friends have some kind of skincare routine, but, you know, it's progress. 20 years ago, we'd have all gotten our asses kicked in a parking lot by the school's anti-moisturizing gang of bullies. Now I can at least talk to my friends without shame about what products they use for their under-eye bags, or if they think that ottoman I'm considering buying is too basic. If it isn't obvious already, I recently moved and have been pulling my hair out about the kind of furniture I need and the kind of furniture that I'm at the least just fine with looking at every day. Unfortunately, the latter category usually comes with a hefty price tag. You want a mid-century modern buffet and hutch? A decent one will set you back at least $1,000, and it's used. A nice couch that will last a minimum of 10 years? You're gonna have to drop $3,000. Even getting an accent chair that's not boring or too weird in order to break up the room that's made from real wood and leather is a month's wages. Am I paying rent or buying a swivel club chair just because I yearn to feel like Don Draper? And I haven't even gotten into rugs that are plastic and end tables with a lifespan longer than 2 college semesters. For those on a budget like myself, and I assume the majority of people, we're stuck with Amazon and IKEA. And listen, there are some decent things you can find there, and honestly, if you just add some Gorilla Glue to all the dowels and screws, you've just upgraded that rickety MDF side table from pre-landfill garbage to garbage that doesn't rattle when you walk past it. I've searched and stared at and compared dozens of MCM secretary desks and bookcases and cantilever bar stools, and at some point, I always feel a little bit like it's blasphemy to buy particle board and laminated furniture that's imitating a style that prided itself on the honest use of natural materials. It feels like cheating to get a 50s inspired bureau that's held together with pre-drilled screws and filled with hamster bedding. Furniture used to be affordable and sturdy and made out of real oak or elm. What the fuck happened? Why is furniture so expensive, and why is the affordable stuff so ass, and why does it seem like there is no in-between? I have always been interested in the arts and have tried to absorb as much information about clothes, design, and art history as possible. I believe in spending money on classic, timeless pieces made of high-quality, durable materials that will last. When it comes to clothing, things like full-grain leather and raw denim and wool end up looking better with age and won't fall apart while you're wearing them. The creases and fades become a representation of the life you've lived in that jacket or those jeans. I feel like there's a similar longevity and durability with quality mid-century furniture as well. Even when worn in and banged up, it still looks good, if not better, with some age. It never really goes out of style and is extremely versatile, much like classic men's tailoring from the same era. And I've said this before, but the way we choose to dress can tell a lot about ourselves and communicate to others what we might believe, or at the minimum, what our interests are. How we decorate and stage our homes accomplishes something similar in an arguably more intimate way. The kind of art that's on the wall, whether it's a no-shoes house. The chosen color palette and patterning gives guests a deeper understanding about our priorities. Do they have plants? Is there only a single frayed beach towel in the bathroom? Do they have a bookshelf with actual books? Are they using a bed frame? Is it full of modern furniture that looks like a Talking Heads music video, or is it all featureless functional crap meant to serve a purpose and nothing more? Basically, do they care about where they live? In order to not sound like a classist dickweed, I fully understand that it could also be a sign that they don't have the money to buy anything nicer, or really the space to put it. I was that guy for many, many years. But even things like using 6,000 Kelvin overhead lights can tell a lot about a person. Light bulbs aren't that expensive. And it genuinely confuses me that so many people do not seem to notice or are fine with the fatigue-inducing fluorescence of a cold light bulb. What am I, living in an office? While I'm no expert in industrial design or exactly what makes a good piece of furniture, and despite not having a deep well of design theory knowledge, I think I've got an okay eye for good design. And while good is subjective, there are certain rules and even some science to back up good design from bad or lazy design. Furniture design is deeply rooted in the human condition. It is a social science that belongs to the humanities, an applied art that draws upon many design disciplines and is dependent upon a working knowledge of materials and fabrication techniques. It is a holistic and interdisciplinary field of study. Personally, I find that mid-century modern doesn't suffer from trends and is as timeless as it is safe. So I've been trying to find MCM dupes for things like shoe benches and buffet cupboards, despite feeling a little weird about it because I just can't justify spending $800 on an end table. But I shouldn't, and any kind of design or art should be accessible to everyone without forfeiting quality. So what happened? You might already know this, but 60 years ago, furniture wasn't disposable crap. American manufacturers built furniture out of solid wood and steel that were expected to outlast the person buying them and also weren't infant-crushing tipping hazards. In 1950, a wood coffee table from Herman Miller was $18. In today's money, that's about $240, which honestly is not a bad deal considering for the same price today you're buying a molded and laminated MDF coffee table from West Elm. Like this one I just bought that will not last multiple generations, whereas that Herman Miller table is probably floating around on Etsy for 4 times what it originally costs. Adjusted for inflation, of course. However, individual purchasing power was a little different back then as wages were better. But as domestic manufacturing in the US declined and outsourcing increased from the 50s to the 70s, solid oak and steel were replaced with lighter weight particle board and aluminum as companies were forced to experiment with cheap substitutes. The oil crisis in the last quarter of the 20th century also made cutting corners inevitable. Planned obsolescence became a deliberate design strategy across just like every industry as well. Then came the 80s, and Reagan accelerated the destruction of US manufacturing through deregulation, union busting, and trade policies like globalization. It was a race to the bottom from there to make everything as cheap as possible in order to increase those profit margins. Disposable furniture that was easier to produce and cheap to ship because, I don't know if you know this, wood and steel are heavy. Of course, this wasn't marketed as cheap at the time, and it still isn't. It's affordable. That sounds friendly and democratic, doesn't it? What it really means is the exact opposite of quality. What's the rule of threes? Good, fast, cheap. You can only have 2. With mass market furniture, you get fast and cheap, but rarely ever good. Or at the very least, easy to assemble. Meanwhile, the very design movements that promise thoughtfully designed furniture for all, like mid-century modern, have been co-opted by elitist dorks. When Frank Lloyd Wright was designing his Usonian homes, or Ray and Charles Eames were figuring out how to make mass-produced functional and comfortable school chairs, they weren't doing so with the intention of wealthy collectors being their sole proprietor 50 years later. They were meant as affordable homes and furnishings for the average middle-income American, which basically doesn't exist anymore. The principles of the movement emphasize simplicity, natural materials, and accessibility. And as MCM gained cultural status, and rarity, I might add, the style became detached from its egalitarian roots and is instead now a luxury aesthetic. That Eames lounge chair is now a $6,000 status symbol and is just plywood and maybe $40 worth of leather on metal legs. Also, I hate that chair now because countless tasteless rich dipshits own one, thereby defiling a once unique piece of furniture. Now, every Patrick Bateman life coach has one because it's all they know about good furniture. And it's all they care to know about good furniture. It's why so many people online flock to spaces like r/male living space for advice. People yearn for a sense of good design and permanence in their homes, but the marketplace offers very little in between flimsy IKEA cube shelf and heritage walnut credenza hand-carved by a 90-year-old Amish craftsman. So online communities have filled the gap where creators and viewers teach each other how to maximize their efficiency apartments, and arrange furniture, or track down affordable MCM-inspired pieces without resorting to harvesting one's organs to have nice stuff. Accounts dedicated to touring mid-century modern homes that we won't ever be able to own have millions of views, and the glut of vintage furniture resellers on Instagram are proof that the desire for quality aesthetics hasn't gone away despite owning the real thing becoming increasingly out of reach. I haven't finished this script yet, but I thought, since I'm talking about furniture and interior design, I would put together one of the many pieces of furniture I've bought over the last couple of weeks and hope that it's interesting for you to watch. Where to begin? Well, firstly, let's... First step. Is that ASMR? Is that good ASMR? So, what the fuck? Now, what I like to do is clean as I go. You don't get overwhelmed and freak out with all the trash. You lose the tiny little Allen wrench that they send you, and then you want to kill yourself. So this is going to be a coffee table. Ah, God. They really did a good job packing this. It's all wrapped in tape. Jesus Christ. Hey, that's it. This is gonna be pretty easy, I think. And now get this out of here. We've got all of our crap thrown away. Now we can, basically, well, I should read the instructions before I do anything else. Is this getting anybody off? Now, are all the little pieces in here? Let's find out. Warning, warning. Warning, this product contains chemicals that will give you cervical cancer. Oh boy, oh brother. Feels like it's a little narrow, but maybe that's okay. That's one of the downsides of buying furniture online, is it's really hard to imagine what the fucking thing is gonna look like in the space that you have. You can use a measuring tape all you want to try and get an idea. It's never gonna be accurate though. All right, how do we like this? That's chill. Oh, there's a middle thing. Ah, right, yes, I forgot. Legs, gams. This is really light. I hope that, is this real wood? It's probably not real fucking wood. Does it say? Can I see what the fuck this thing's made of? That's interesting, it doesn't say. This, it is just directions. Why would it say? Why would it have an ingredients list? Oh my God, goes here. Ugh. Ow, my ankles are starting to hurt. I'm too old for this. Here's my little Allen wrench that I'm gonna immediately throw away when I'm done here. What's the first thing I do? Probably put the bracket thing in and take all these little stickers off. So E plus G and then F, and do this 8 million times. Ugh. This video is about buying, mid-century style sort of furniture that's all like this. This is even like a decent brand, but it's still probably particle board, laminate, that's like put together with a bunch of screws and stuff. There's something about knockoffs that always kind of feel like, I think I said it at some point in this video, I might be repeating myself, feels like cheating. And like none of my friends or people that will come over are gonna notice or care or inspect my furniture all that closely. But I think I feel that way because there's a bit of elitism when it comes to this kind of thing, especially, interior design and furniture, and where you feel like in order for it to be considered, like real furniture, it has to have like joints and joinery that aren't, pre-drilled screws. My point is, the way that this furniture is like designed and put together is an instant tell that like, oh, you bought this from West Elm? What are you, poor? So there's a lot of that in my brain when I'm looking at this stuff, especially the stuff on Amazon that's even worse quality than something like, West Elm. Oh, this is gonna take forever. What is happening? That can't possibly be how I do this. I know I shouldn't care about this sort of thing, but it's just annoying that furniture, interior design has that sort of elitist quality about it. I shouldn't feel bad about buying a West Elm dupe coffee table because it's the only thing I can afford, and even then, it's pushing it. I have a couch from them coming. It's probably the most money I've ever spent on anything with the exception of my computer. I'm gonna have to, well, actually, I'm not gonna have to put that together. Luckily, when you buy the couches from them, they have white glove delivery for free. Dudes are gonna show up. It'll already be put together. They're just gonna carry it into my home, my domicile. But if you were to buy that on IKEA, you'd be putting that fucking thing together yourself. And nobody would put it in the elevator or walk it upstairs into your apartment. I hope they show up wearing actual white gloves. Hey, we're here to deliver your couch. And this goes right in there. Bro, this is gonna take me 13 hours to tighten all these down. Why? Crazy, that's fucking crazy, dude. Oh, fuck off. You shouldn't have to sweat to fucking get your furniture to be furniture. See, this is my other problem with the way furniture is made nowadays. This is insane. I shouldn't have to spend an entire afternoon screwing in one bolt. And the furniture where you don't have to do this shouldn't cost $5,000. Now where's the last washer? Oh cool, I've lost a washer? That's pretty sick. How did this happen? It was sitting right there. Dude, what? Ugh. Ow, everything hurts. I'm gonna put this together and then I'm gonna find it. I know that's gonna happen. Foot's cramping up. Fuck! Ah, my hands are cramping up now. Oh my God. Yeah, this could have been designed a little bit better. Fucking if it was all solid wood and it just came made, wouldn't have to deal with this shit, but I can't afford that. And I should be able to, God damn it. Maybe I should take that out and go buy a single washer at Home Depot. They should just give washers away at Home Depot. How much would a single washer this size even cost? You know, 8 cents? Just give me the washer. Oh, I forgot about these ones. Ah, fuck. Why is there such a big gap? That's another issue with this kind of furniture, man. I still spent like $300 on this, and it's not even machined properly. There's a big 1/4 of an inch gap between the legs on this side, and this one's nice and flush. What the fuck is that about? Okay, coffee table, built. Do we like it? I'm not sending it back. What have we learned today? We've learned that even the most simple designs in home furniture are still a pain in the fucking ass to put together. Doesn't matter how much money you spend. Dude, honestly, the cheaper stuff that I've gotten so far was much easier to put together than this fucking thing. What are you really paying for at the end of the day? You know? I hope this was enjoyable to watch, and I hope that this video makes sense and that there's somewhere to put this in it. Is this how the video is gonna end? That feels like it would be not great. There's gotta be a different ending at some point. Back to future me, because I'm recording this before I've even recorded the main portion of the video. Man, I hope this is usable. I know some people will say, well, if you really cared about quality, you wouldn't have bought that table in the first place. But that's my point. Most of us don't have a choice because there isn't anything between MDF knockoffs and high-end heirlooms, and even something labeled affordable feels overpriced for what it is. If it takes me an hour to assemble a $300 table that I know won't outlast my rotting flesh, what does that say about the state of design and ownership today? Eventually, you're gonna have to pay a subscription for that Wayfair rug, and when your card declines, a couple of repo men will kick down your door and take it away. And probably beat the shit out of you just because. Which brings me back to the start that somehow men don't care about their homes and are content with a mattress on the floor and a TV on a milk crate and bed bugs in their ass crack. I care! Maybe it seems that way because most of us are disillusioned with building a home for ourselves we're delighted to come back to after a long day in the mines. Also, if that stereotype were really true, r/male living space wouldn't exist at all, and r/female living space would have a community that eclipsed it, but it doesn't. And listen, you could argue there are just fewer female Redditors to begin with, and they're all over on Pinterest instead. But there are 14 million members on 2X chromosomes, so there are definitely female Redditors. Either way, that still doesn't make it true because woodworking and furniture building are often seen as male hobbies anyway. Men do care as well as women. And everyone else. The real problem is that the industry has made owning any of this shit prohibitively expensive, and I can't be alone in my disappointment when I struggle to put together an MCM dupe because it didn't come with all the parts. I guess the thesis of this video is that I simply don't think it's fair for a publication like Vice or anyone to reinforce the idea that men don't care about interior design when we've been told our whole lives that caring about fashion, design, or any form of nesting is gay, while not addressing the state of the marketplace, making it unaffordable to buy affordability. If you grow up with that message, it's no wonder some guys end up in barren apartments with a goon corner because they were told that empathy isn't masculine. And please don't misconstrue what I'm saying as men have it so hard. Please be nice to us. I'm just saying that interior design isn't a frivolous hobby and shouldn't be a luxury reserved for non-men and people making 6 figures or more. We shouldn't have to sacrifice quality and aesthetics just to make a home. People want to display their things and showcase who they are to their loved ones and strangers by putting an environment together that reflects who they are and how they want to live, and everyone deserves to be able to do that regardless of their tax bracket. It isn't emasculating, but part of the human condition. That's the video. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you made it this far, that means you're special. Please be sure to follow the rules of the channel, which are like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon that you can go pay for. It's $1 for all the content I'm going to be making moving forward, ad-free. The videos are still going to go here on YouTube. I'm going to post them there early, depending on what tier you subscribe to. The lowest tier, though, $1. Everything is going to go there. No ads. Also, go follow me on Instagram, where I will post updates about the channel and, you know, some other stuff that doesn't show up here on YouTube. I don't know what that would be, besides memes, potentially. That's it. Until next time, vanish. Thank you for your continued support of the channel. Bye. God.